So Stacy, why don't you start off by telling me a little bit about what you like about your hair and what you don't like about your hair?
So I've always had long hair, and I always like not everyone can have long hair, so I like my long hair. As I've aged, my hair is getting thinner, especially on the top. It's still really long, but what happens is in order for it to look good, I need to feel like I have to curl it. So I'm washing my hair, I'm blow drying my hair, and then I'm having to curl it. So I'm spending a lot of time on my hair. And it looks nice, but I don't know how much longer I can pull off the long hair as I'm getting older. And I like that it's long, but I also feel like I'm aging, so I'm not sure I can really pull this off much longer.
Okay, so what is it about curling your hair that you like? Is it because it makes it look like it has volume?
It looks full.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. And what would you say right now, outside of curling your hair, what do you like about your hair? Is there anything specific, or is it more, I just don't like how it's flat?
Well, I do like that it's straight. It's, like I said, I like that it's long. Um, it's pretty easy to maintain, I guess, as opposed to curly hair, which is a lot of like maintenance. And so I like it that it's pretty easy and manageable, but it looks easy and manageable. And like I said, because I'm losing the hair, if I put it in a ponytail, I feel like I have like zero volume and I almost look bald.
Okay, got it. And when you say you like long hair, are you growing it longer than what you have?
I think I like this length. I don't know if you can see it right there.
Yep.
I like this length, but if it gets longer than this, it's really heavy, and then it really looks flat. And it just looks scraggly and unkept.
Yeah.
So I like it at this length. I actually just had it cut, and I like the cut. It's right about where I like it. Not too short, not too long.
Got it, got it. And do you have layers right there at the front of your hair?
Yes.
Where do they start?
Mm,
What's the shortest layer? How short's the shortest layer?
layers. I thought it. Oh, there it is.
Okay, got it.
So
So what I'm thinking that I think would be helpful is if you just got a cut, that's a length that you obviously like. You want to maintain it obviously around that length, most likely. It doesn't sound like you're growing it much longer, but you also don't want it a lot shorter because that's about the length. How long ago was that cut?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, so that's obviously the length that you like. So one of the things that I'd probably recommend is maybe doing shorter layers, because you have got really long hair. When you do long layers, the layers are also long. They're really long themselves. A lot of people think that when they get long layers because they've got long hair, it's going to make their hair a lot lighter. And that's true depending on the length of your hair. If your hair is really long, then long layers are also really long. And so it lightens it up a little bit, but it doesn't lighten it up a whole lot. When your hair is, let's say, shoulder length or above, and you get long layers relative to the length of hair. So a lot of people will use the word long layers, and long layers are relative to the existing length. So if your existing length is here, long layers is going to be shorter. It's going to obviously be much lighter and fuller because your hair is already shorter to begin with. However, when your hair is down to the middle of your back and you do long layers relative to the length, then those long layers are also really long, which lightens it up a little bit, but not a whole lot. So what I would probably suggest, if that's the outline that you like, that length, then doing shorter layers. I would probably have the shortest layer start just below the jawline, so that you'd mentioned a second ago when you put your hair in a ponytail, you'd want that shortest layer to still be able to reach in a ponytail, but when it falls down, it's going to fall closer to your chin versus where it falls right now, which is obviously a lot longer. By having your shortest layer by your chin, it's going to be a lot shorter, which creates a lot lighter effect. Basically, it's because you're going to be taking about, looks like about that much off, it's going to be that much lighter, which will then be able to give you that much more volume. So I do some frame the face layers throughout the front, starting just below the chin, or however that length is that would still get to your ponytail. If your ponytail is important. If your ponytail is not important, I know you mentioned you put it in a ponytail sometimes. So if that's important, you want it to reach. But if it's not important, I'd probably just go just below the jawline, you know, and then when you put your hair to ponytail, some pieces might fall out, which is not a bad look. And then I would layer all through the interior. You don't want to take away from the outline. I do like the outline being thicker and heavier looking. Thicker is probably the right word versus heavier, because we want to create lightness. So a thicker outline, but I would shorten the interior layers all throughout the head as short as possible without compromising the thickness of the outline. And so if you round that box off, you're taking that corner away, which then makes the layers even lighter. And by doing more of a rounder layer versus a square layer, you're going to eliminate even more weight. So something to think about in your next cut, I would consider possibly just bringing your frame to face layer shorter and then doing more of a rounder layer, letting the outline drop. So again, we don't compromise the thickness of the length, the thickness of the outline. What we want to be careful for is we don't layer it so much that now your outline looks wispy. That happens all the time. So we want to make sure that we have a nice thick outline, but a lot lighter layers. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that would be really nice. It would look really good. It would make it feel full and fresh and kind of like light, feminine. That makes sense.
Okay, perfect, excellent. Well, Stacy, thank you so much for joining me on this consultation, and hope you have a spectacular rest of the day.
Thank you so much for your time.